This is Toon Talk Weekly, episode 191. This week, Brad and I prove that we are truly noobs when we watch an episode of the series Supernoobs.
Stand back, bad hero friends, as I knock the playground-wrecking dog out with a furious
Fine, I'll stop them because
You guys can't! Nice! You turned into a kitty to lure him away from the innocent bystanders that it might harm.
I was going for Godzilla, but let's go with that.
Fire on!
The day just keeps getting better. Ah, boy.
I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready,
Man, where is that kid?
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday once again. That means it's time for another episode of the weekly cartoon podcast, Toon Talk Weekly. Of course, that is the show. Thank you for joining us once again to talk some cartoons this week. I'm Jake Williams, but I'm not the only voice you're going to hear this week. Brought along my good buddy Brad Chmielewski to chat some cartoons. What's up, man?
What's up? How's it going?
It's going well. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, we got a new backdrop for you this week.
Yeah, a little different of a look here.
Yeah.
In a different place.
If you're watching the video version instead of Brad's traditional green screen that he has, his nice like home studio setup, he's at our fun office location, which, man, I haven't been back in like a couple months now.
Unless I am at home on the green screen and it's
Ooh.
all.
These are things I didn't consider when seeing your picture over there today. This is the show every single week where Brad and I, who are animators by day, we like to watch cartoons. It's kind of a thing we like to do as both entertainment as well as, we could say we study it, but there's definitely smaller things we notice, I think, in these sorts of shows.
Right, yeah.
That can be good for inspiration. This week we decided to watch a show called Supernoobs. And Brad, had you ever heard of this show?
No, I felt like you had found another crappy 90s show that no one had ever heard of.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what this was.
I expected from the name. I was like, oh man, Jake found another random show that no one's heard of.
Let's say, in a way, yeah. I'd also never heard of it, but try 2015, not 90s. That's how new this is. But I would say, yeah, probably you could tell it was a little bit more modern based on both the look and the fact that I think that noobs as a word wasn't like commonly used until recently.
No, not at all.
You know, and maybe we know a little more because we're in the gaming culture where that word sort of originated from to be a name you call people. And in this case, in this cartoon, it seems the word noob is a term of endearment for this young group of kids who suddenly have superpowers. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Supernoobs and what we can expect from this show. And I've only currently seen, as a preface here, this one episode we're going to talk about today. I get the impression that there's quite a bit of continuity with the show in that if you watched it from the beginning, you would get a better idea of how they have their powers or how they got them. And
yeah, we're just kind of tossed into this world, and I'm a noob into this. Like, I don't know what's happening.
We truly are the super noobs this week discussing this show. And so what we have here is an American-Canadian Flash animated series produced by DHX Media and Teletoon. Pretty much any time that cartoons from Canada come up, we hear about Teletoon, and I feel like we've heard DHX Media quite a bit. Created by Scott Fellows, and it premiered on Cartoon Network in the UK and Ireland November 2nd, 2015, and then a month later it debuted in the US on December 7th, 2015. And one season, 52 total episodes, that's 10-minute parts, and we watched one of those today. So the story of the show, as far as I can gather, and this doesn't go into like, man, I feel like I picked a bad episode, I gotta be honest. It didn't like really cover villains. It didn't cover, like, to be fair, they barely even used their powers in this episode.
We got a little taste of what the show's all about.
Mm-hmm. And the show can be summed up as the story of it, rather. These 12-year-old, or this, I don't know if they're all 12 or they're just that age. I think they're middle school age, basically. But it can be summed up as 12-year-old nerdy best friends Kevin, Tyler, Shope, and Roach not only need to contend with the harrowing halls of their Canadian middle school. Oh, they even said it in Canada. Look at that. But at the same time fight microcosmic game assassins infecting Earthlings bent on destroying them and the entire world.
So game assassins?
Well, so every episode features them basically tackling a virus, they call it. Now, I was confused because when I think virus, maybe I'm on the computer too much. I think computer virus, right? Something being hacked or something
cold
like
virus.
That. Right. I think it's more like that. But I'm curious to know if the title Supernoobs, being that it's a noob, being that there is a tech element to their powers, it's not just like magic, it is a physical object that gives them their powers. I wonder if it is steeped in video game stuff and they kind of combined the use of the word because, for instance, in the beginning of the episode we'll talk about today, they do extract a virus that looks more like a germ biological virus. So I wonder if they kind of combine the two. And the main characters we'll talk about today are the Supernoobs themselves. We have Tyler Bowman, who seems to be, there's always a leader type. He seems to be more in that role. He controls, they all control a battle ball. That's what gives them their power. And he controls the blue battle ball, which gives him the ability to, oh yeah?
He's the Blue Ranger.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is just so, the concept of all these. Like, you got the blue one, the green one, the red one. It's just kind of, can't figure out anything else.
You can definitely see, like, where they picked and grabbed and, like, borrowed from for kind of their lore. But the blue battle ball for Tyler gives him the ability to teleport. It enhances his natural senses and mind reading as well. He really only uses the teleport in the episode we watched today.
Yeah, did not use mind reading. I'm sure he's gotten in trouble for that in previous episodes.
Especially being a middle schooler, he doesn't know what's good to do and bad to do at this point. He hasn't learned that yet.
Right, yeah.
We have Jennifer Shope, who typically goes by her last name when she's hanging out with the boys. She is the only girl member of this like small clique of kids, and she controls the purple battle ball. It gives her the power to harness natural forces like water and electricity. In this episode, I think we see stone at least once is one of the elements she can control.
Okay.
Then we have Kevin Reynolds, who controls the red battle ball, shapeshifts into various forms. Often he turns into something like an opossum or like something that's like totally not useful for what they need to do. It reminds me of, didn't we talk about that? Like the Super Friends or the
Super
Duo?
Friends, the one that just can turn into water. Like, you're the worst.
Right. Okay, I'm going to turn into an
Turn
electric.
puddle.
Yeah, I'm going to be a jet. Why don't you be like a water balloon this time? Yeah, okay. Finish saving the day by yourself because I'm useless. And finally, we have Roach, or Theodore Roachmont, as he goes by, the green battle ball holder of the Supernoobs, and he has the power of flight and super strength. So he got the vanilla superpowers.
Yeah, nice.
Right, of like what you would actually want from there. So, and what I can gather, what I'm a little bit bummed about, we watched season 1, episode 21, called Noob Kid in Town. I believe most of their episodes have these funny little noob puns or something, but I'm a little bit bummed that I don't know the history of the battle ball, that I didn't go back far enough to see, like, how did they find these? Where did they come from? Why these
I
kids?
guess, but you're assuming that there's an episode that does that. There might not be.
Man, I got to imagine the beginning, because there was, like, no title for us either, like, no theme song that we couldn't check out, right? So. And don't get me wrong, I think this is one of those cartoons that's not going to have this crazy deep origin story or anything like that, but I just feel like there's more that I needed to know rather than just be thrown into an episode where they kind of already have their powers in general. So
Yeah, maybe.
Let's talk about the episode. Season 1, episode 21, Noob Kid in Town. If you guys want to watch this, I was able to find, it looks like an official channel, but search for Supernoobs, all one word, on YouTube, and they have a channel that seems to post all the episodes. So, and as far as I can tell, the show is not running anymore, so the compendium should be there at this point.
Okay.
We begin the episode of Supernoobs at the playground, at the park, right? And there is a, like, like a rabid monster beast dog attacking stuff, but he's not like hurting people. He's playing with like swing sets and things on the playground that he thinks are actually like sticks and toys because he's gigantic.
Yeah, he's just being a dog, just like goofing around.
Oh, you just had no problem with this dog at all?
Yeah, I was just like, well, this is just a big dog. Like, I was like, also didn't know if they were going to be on Earth when this show started. So I'm like, well, this is just a really big dog. I wonder, like, is it a villain? Is it one of their dogs? Do they have a pet giant dog?
True, and we truly get thrown right in here. There was really no preface into what happened. So this happens with the dog, and the super noobs already spring into action. They're already in their suits, rather, or their outfits. So they start trying to use their powers. So we have Tyler trying to teleport. He's like, I'm going to go get the extractor so we can get the virus out of this dog. Just teleports home. It seems like he's up there with the guy who can shapeshift, Kevin, because he just teleports to the wrong place.
Yeah, they don't have a grasp on their powers. Really.
They're a little too young for this. So he just teleports home. So then Shope decides, okay, well, I'm going to use mighty fists to beat the virus out of the guy. I'm going to turn my fist to stone, but then she can't lift her fist because they're made of rock now.
Classic, yeah.
Kevin, the red battle ball holder, decides I'm going to shapeshift into something to terrify him, a different animal that would scare a dog. And he turns into a little cat, which is the opposite of what you want.
But sets us up for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. And I don't even remember what happened to Theo, like what happened to Roach with the green battle ball. I know he has flight and super strength, but didn't he just fly away or get like caught up in something, his cape or like something cheesy?
I don't remember, yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow they defeat this dog, right? They get the virus out.
Right. Eventually, after whatever happens, like Tyler comes back. He's like, oh, I got the extractor. Like everything's figured out. The problem, of course, is that Kevin, who's now a cat, got scared up into a tree. And he gets saved by some passerby, and then
because the rest of the noobs left him.
Right, and then instead of like them getting the praise for saving the park from this giant beast dog, they see a news report that the guy who saved this cat from a tree is getting a $100 gift card to the local pet store.
Yeah, he saved the day. He saved the cat.
I love that the super noobs are like, hey, that cat looks like Kevin. Kevin walks in. Yeah, it was me. That guy saved me from that tree.
Right. But he walked in still as a cat. Like he just kind of liked it and stayed as a cat.
I think they asked him why he did, and he's like, it's definitely not because I could do this. And he just starts licking himself. So,
yeah,
why not? So the super noobs here now seeing that somebody else got the reward for saving the day. They think the reward's sweet. $100 to a pet store. First of all, $100 to a middle school kid is a lot of money.
Yeah, $100 is $100, even if it is to a pet store.
Right, right. Where you don't know as a middle schooler what you would want to buy.
Right.
I feel like I would. What would you buy for $100 at a pet store, Brad?
Probably some sodas, a gerbil, maybe like a guinea pig.
You would just buy stuff from like the registers.
Yeah.
I feel like I would just buy like as much of those little miniature like castles and stuff for a fish tank I could build like a little scene.
Like, a bunch of like bouncy ball cat toys and stuff too.
There you go. Well, you have pets, so you would have a reason.
But in this scenario, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We would be the worst pet store shoppers. So the super noobs now, they would say, hey, I want those $100 gift cards. We have to save the day. We have to make sure we figure this out right.
Right.
But they decide they obviously can't go out and save it in their battle ball powers because then people would know who they are and they can't give up their identities. So they one by one don a cape and give themselves a new name to say, I'm going to go save the day. I know that like Roach was the chopper and all he does is chop. He's like, I'm just going to chop stuff. Like that's how he's going to save it.
We don't save the planet for gift cards. We save it because we are the only ones who can. Fine. Then I'll become a battle baller superhero like Catboy. Get ready, Cornberry. There's a new superhero in town. Turboy! Please don't do this. Now, I'm off to save something and get a fat gift card. He's being ridiculous.
I really like gift cards.
Me too.
And not to be confused with Turboy, I will become the Chopper! Chop, chop, chop!
Why the chopper?
I do not know. Now,
So now all of them in their new powers, I guess they're like pedestrian powers, right? They're not going to show their battle ball powers
Yeah,
here.
they don't have any powers.
They just have a cape and kind of made up fake superpower. One of them, even like I think the girl, she said like, "I'm the human calculator. I'm gonna subtract crime and add gift cards." Like that was
Yes,
her.
that was pretty clever. I like that.
That was her power, basically. They all go to the pet store, but of course one of them was there first, so they argue over like, "Oh, if you're gonna stay here and try to help pet stores," like they were just gonna loiter outside of pet stores and hope that they could save the day to get a gift card. They say, "Well, where are we gonna stand and help?" There's like a pet store on every corner at this four-way intersection.
Yeah, for some reason this town has pet stores galore.
I love that they even acknowledge that. Wow, Cornberry has a lot of pet stores at some point. And the entire rest of the day is literally any person that walks in or out of these pet stores, they more or less, I'm going to say assault, not like assault and battery or something, but like walk up to them and like, "Hey, can I save you? Can you help me? Can you make sure someone sees me? Because I want to make sure that I get a gift card here."
Gift card. Yeah, I need a gift card. Yeah.
Um,
And it doesn't work out for them.
no. And this is why I said that they don't use their powers. I feel like this was the majority of the episode was them in capes trying to save the day.
Yeah.
At some point, I can't even remember how it came to be, but there were always little like piles of cats like all over the place. Apparently, this town also has a large stray cat problem.
Yeah.
Even though they're all next to a bunch of pet stores, you'd think somebody would.
Well, they want their food, man. They're trying to like get in there. They're hungry.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's not till near the end of the episode they almost save the day, but I think at one point even what's his name, Kevin, turns into like a poodle or something, like not helpful to take care of all these cats. Two guys come in who I'm assuming are characters we would have met in the series otherwise, and they save the day and get gift cards, and what they buy dog biscuits with them, and they're eating the dog biscuits.
Citizen, we have been trained for this type of rescue situation.
Seems a little strong.
Yeah.
And that is just wrong.
Thank you for saving me. And here is a $100 gift card to show my appreciation.
What? You get the gift card? That would have been mine if it wasn't for you three.
Stop! Being superheroes is not about gift cards.
And good deeds don't need rewards. Doing something good is the reward.
Then you'll give us a gift card?
Are you nuts? It's $100, guy.
Right, and that's what one of the other kids wanted to do. He's like, I'd get a bunch of dog biscuits and eat them. Dogs like them, so they must be good.
They must be good. Yeah. We learn later at the very end of the episode that I guess these guys are like alien dudes. They're not human guys. So it makes sense that they would like something weird.
Yeah, I feel like they maybe brought their battle balls or something. Or they're like part of this squad, or like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of history from the background that I wish I would have known, like going into this. So they don't end up saving the day, basically, right? Like they go back to, in a weird way, they do. They make sure that all the stray cats, using some of their powers, they end up getting them all into the pet store, and so now the town has a huge like cat adoption that you can do because they wrangled up all the cats, but they didn't exactly get what they thought they would want, which is the gift cards and the keys to the city. And it's not. I think at the very end of the episode, they're sitting with these two guys, the German-sounding guys who got the dog biscuits, and they all eat them, and they're like, "Ah, sweet! Like this is good," and then spit them out because they're dog biscuits. Why would you think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
This was it.
Kind of it. Yeah, it happened so fast. It's over, and when it finished, I was like, oh, "What? Wait, what? What? Did
Yeah.
Nothing happened."
I was also concerned that the pacing of the episode was really interesting because the I'm going to call it the lull, but like essentially the middle where they just had the capes and were kind of standing around was the majority of the episode, and then it felt like it ended abruptly.
Yeah.
And I get that it's back to back with another episode that would be, part of whatever block on TV. But it still just felt like, man, I feel like sometimes 11-minute shows have like a pretty nice little build up or wind down to the episode so you know that it ended. that was not the case with Supernoobs, Season 1, Episode 21, called Noob Kid in Town. So, Brad, I want to get your opinion on maybe the look of the show or what you thought of the storytelling in the show.
I kind of liked the look of it. It didn't feel like unique, but it felt like classic, like classic design. The characters had a nice shape to them. Maybe that was the problem. It felt like too cookie cutter, mid 2000 show, 2015 show. Like it was just, that's the look we have, and cool.
Yeah.
As far as the theme, I don't know the theme. I think it's kind of cheesy. Maybe like the backstory and like what they're doing is better, but it's like, oh yeah, we're just here to protect the planet from the virus. And it's like, well, this is so not interesting when you have a show like Steven Universe where they're on Earth protecting it too, but from like way bigger things.
Sure. And I think maybe, especially the episode we chose. Now, again, we set up front. We only watched one episode, so there's a lot of backstory we don't have. But there's like a scale issue with the story, at least in the case of this one. Like if you want to put it up against Steven Universe, they do a very good job of covering very large, not only spaces and where they exist, but like concepts. But I don't think that's this purpose. Even though these guys are supposedly Earth's heroes, the battle balls like give them these powers, I just felt like maybe the scope or scale of what they were supposed to be protecting was really just limited to Cornberry, especially in this episode.
Right, yeah.
So I agree with the look too. There were characters, I feel like it was the mayor who had like this lumpy looking head. I feel like there were characters I've seen in other stuff before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was like a Fairly Odd Parents vibe or what it was about the head shapes, but a very similar line thing. But again, knowing that it's a Flash animated series, or at least what I could uncover about it, that just seems to be the way that a lot of those shows tend to look, because it's just easier to have those nice crisp lines for your characters. So, but otherwise, it was fine. I kind of wish I would have picked one that seemed a little more interesting. I don't have the best track record of picking good episodes all the time.
No, it does seem like you just have a show it's a filler show. Like you just have it on and not really be paying attention about what's happening.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. Especially, I love groups of characters that have individual powers or individual like specialties. I love that sort of thing. The idea of the ball was interesting, but I guess I need more backstory, and that's totally on my own,
right.
problems that I didn't watch anymore. But I need more backstory to know, why are they balls? What's the what's the reason for the noob part? Why are the viruses video game related, or are they all biological? Is there a crossover? Like, I have a lot of questions, and I don't know where I'm going to get those answers.
Where's our super noob, non-noob? Like this show, I guess the title fit our thoughts on this.
Actually, this episode is not about a cartoon. It's just about Brad and I. That's it. Yeah. Just super noobs. That's it. So,
being noobs, like, we just don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. So I think that's plenty. I think we're just going to get out of here. Brad, where can people find out more about you when you're not recording Toon Talk Weekly?
So you can follow me on Twitter. It's @brad, and then my blog is digitalhitchhiker.com.
Great, guys, go check him out. He posted a picture. We stopped doing the images with every single episode. We post them sometimes, but if you still want Brad's little fun meme pictures of the episodes, he's going to have them over on his blog as well. You can follow me on Twitter @JacobWilliams. And, of course, if you want more Toon Talk Weekly, we're all over social media. We're on Twitter @Toon Talk Weekly, Facebook.com/Toon Talk Weekly. We're on Google Plus as Toon Talk Weekly as well. I think it's just /Toon Talk Weekly. I think you don't have to do anything special anymore. And the
don't
email.
have that fancy YouTube vanity URL yet either.
Not quite. If you guys watch the video episodes, of course, please subscribe on YouTube, because we have a long ton of characters. I think you need so many subscribers to have it. So,
yeah.
And I want our legit listeners. I'm not paying for stupid fake ones. And our email, toontalkweekly@gmail.com, is the main place to go if you guys want to send us any messages. Let us know what we didn't get about Supernoobs, because I feel like we didn't do this show justice. But we'd love to hear more about it. And toontalkweekly.com, the main hub for the show, where you can find all of our past episodes as we're careening quickly towards episode 200. Just kind of, time just flies, man. I don't know. So that's going to do it for this week's episode, talking about Supernoobs. Next week, man, I should have brought it up at the top of the show, but I'll talk more about it next week. But I got the Nintendo Switch last like Friday.
Ooh, I feel like I hope you're holding it up in the video on your end.
I put it upstairs. It's not at my desk. I got the Switch. I've been playing a lot of Zelda. It's bringing me back to being a kid playing the Super Nintendo Zeldas, the NES, and the N64 Zeldas. Like, it just feels great. So I'm going to finally get around to, and force Brad to, watch the Legend of Zelda cartoon that is notably not good. But I just want to talk about Zelda for half an hour. So
Fair enough.
So join us next week when we talk about The Legend of Zelda, but that's going to do it for this week's episode of Toon Talk Weekly. Join us next week when we talk about another cartoon.
Take care.
To learn more about the show, visit toontalkweekly.com or follow us on Twitter @ToonTalkWeekly.